From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Laddie Williams.
Hello, welcome. Tonight, Academic Staff Union of Universities urges the Senate to advocate for increased funding of public universities to help curb recurring strikes. And senior advisor to President Trump, Masad Boulos, dismisses claims of religious discrimination by terrorists in Nigeria. Also tonight, Nigeria's Health Minister Mohammed Pate meets with the World Bank President, WHO officials, and other global health leaders during the IMF World Bank meetings in Washington. Plus, Donald Trump warns that supplying long-range missiles could escalate the war in Ukraine as talks with President Zelensky begin.
On business news, federal, states, and local government councils share reduced revenue allocation of 2.1 trillion naira for September.
On sports news tonight, Super Falcons forward Esther Koronko and captain Rasheedat Ajibade named among the 10-player shortlist for the Women Player of the Year at the 2025 CAF Awards.
And from the nation's capital, a group of women entrepreneurs expressed distress over the demolition of their businesses in the Maitama area of Abuja.
Good evening. We begin tonight from Abuja, where the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, is urging the federal government to increase funding for public universities. The union reinforced its position during a session with the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED-Fund at the National Assembly. Speaking on behalf of the union, ASU President Chris Iwana said the ongoing two-week warning strike is rooted in long-standing issues dating back to 2011. Meanwhile, Senator Leo Danditse, chairman of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED-Fund, stated that lawmakers will soon facilitate talks between the federal government and ASU to resolve both ongoing industrial action and University of Abuja land dispute. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Mizike, reports.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities appeared before the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED-Fund 5 days after commencing a two-week warning strike over unmet demands.
It us to where we are today.
The president of ASU, Professor Christopher Piwona, delineates their position, underscoring the issue of funding as central.
The issue of the 2009 agreement is very central to the growth and development of our universities.
Is it too much to pay us living wages of even the West Africans' average to improve our universities? They say our students do very well when they go outside the country. Imagine we are even more motivated than we are today. Imagine what our students will do. Try us and see. Push government to increase funding to universities and see whether there will be strikes in this country. Push government to improve funding in Nigerian universities and see whether our students and our universities, our ranking, will not, surpass all these African countries.
They also raised an alarm over attempts by the FCT minister to take a portion of the land belonging to the University of Abuja.
If the minister is interested in taking land, why is he not moving to take land in the opposite direction from the military? We have been asking ourselves this question, really. And distinguished senators, you will be helping that university if you stop the minister from taking any piece of land from that university.
The lawmakers are equally displeased over the matter.
We are talking of long-term investment. Universities are long-term investments. Okay? And like you said, we can use it for agricultural purposes, we can use it for all forms of research. And knowing fully well that the student population will continue to increase, and the need for lecturers, accommodation also will continue to increase. So please, we'll tell Wiki, or the Honorable Minister for FCT, that he should please put a halt to that move. We are not in support.
The meeting then dissolves into a closed-door session, after which the committee outlines a series of solutions.
Convey the government agencies and also, most especially the Ministry of Education and NUC, for a negotiating as soon as possible so that we can resolve this lingering problem. Senate agrees to interface with the Minister of FCT. Also, other needs will be studied and appropriate steps will be taken to ensure amicable resolution.
The committee has asked ASU to submit their demands in writing to help the Senate develop medium and long-term legislative solutions to the protracted crisis in the sector. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And from labor matters to security, the special advisor to the U.S. President on Arab and African Affairs, Dr. Massad Boulos, has acknowledged the indiscriminate nature of terrorist attacks, emphasizing they affect all people, including both Muslims and Christians. He made the remarks after meeting with President Bola Tinubu, who was in Rome, Italy, for the Akaba Process Heads of State and Government meeting. His comments come amid allegations of a genocide targeting Christians in Nigeria. Dr. Boulos also highlighted the Nigerian government's ongoing efforts to address security challenges across the country.
Those who know the terrain well know that terrorism has no color and no religion and no tribe. People of all religions and all tribes are dying as a result of terrorist acts, but it's very unfortunate. We even know that Boko Haram and ISIS are killing more Muslims than Christians. So people are suffering from all sorts of backgrounds. This is not specifically targeted about one group or the other. However, any loss of life is too many. One is too many, and we should work together in partnership to put an end to this. With regards to, there are other incidents that happen to be in the Middle Belt, for example, where farmers are located. Most of these farmers happen to be Christian, and some herdsmen are going through and they have these incidents. But we definitely, it's not something that we can say is specifically targeted about a specific group. However, we must work together to put an end to this. The Nigerian government and the President Tinubu's administration have recently taken additional measures and put more resources in those areas, and we've seen some improvements in recent weeks. We appreciate those measures, and we definitely look forward to more of those, and we look forward to ending these sorts of acts wherever they come from. And we know that Nigeria is a melting pot. Nigeria is a country in which all sorts of religious groups and other groups, ethnic and tribal and other groups are living together in harmony for centuries. And Nigerian population is split 50-50 probably between Christians and Muslims. So this has never been a serious religious issue and should not be. But we appreciate what President Tinubu has done, and we shall continue to work together to make sure it's taken care of.
And now politics. The Progressive Governors Forum has praised President Bola Tinubu for his economic reforms, noting that they have contributed to a reduction in Nigeria's inflation rates. The forum's chairman, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, made the announcement while reading the communique issued after the forum's two-day meeting in Benin Kebbi, the capital of Kebbi State.
Governors under the All Progressives Congress are meeting in Benin Kebbi to discuss some national issues and matters affecting the development of the party. The meeting is holding behind closed doors late into Thursday night. The next day, the forum briefed journalists on the communique, expressing satisfaction with the measures implemented by President Bola Tinubu in managing the nation's economy.
The forum congratulated Mr. President on the measurable successes being recorded in the economy and the national security. Our economy is steadily growing. Inflation is on the decline. Interest rates are on a downward trajectory. Foreign exchange market is stable and even appreciating. Revenue accruing to all three tiers of government is increasing, all due to the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The governors then proceed to attend a stakeholders meeting with party chieftains in the states. The forum welcomes the defection of Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. The governors believe the action of Governor Mbah is a reflection of the impact of President Bola Tinubu's government.
Since 2023, when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office, he made a Nigeria that was almost drowning. And what was required was a bold leader who will be able to take bold decisions. And he discovered the cancer that held Nigeria hostage. And he took that bold decision.
So everybody who is actually interested in progress and the growth of Nigeria is moving on that path. In terms of how we are going to manage, in APC, from the day you join APC, you have equal rights. And there's proper internal democracy. The machinery put in place is such that there will be no issue. The main agenda is not whatever we have made, is to deliver to Nigerians. And I believe that we are on the path and course of doing that.
The forum is reaffirming its commitment to the programs and policies of the federal government under the renewed Hope agenda.
And the people of Dunukofia local government area, comprising 6 communities, have expressed their full support for the Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and his deputy, Dr. Onyeka Chukwuibezim, as their preferred candidates for the November 8th governorship election. The declaration was made during the re-election endorsement rally and 2025 harvest display at the local government secretariat in Ukpo. In addition to pledging over 200 million naira in campaign support, numerous beneficiaries of the Anambra State government's policies praised Governor Soludo's impactful leadership.
Mr. Governor of Anambra State is here.
It's a celebration of impactful leadership and compassionate service at the headquarters of Dunukofia local government area, Ukpo, wherein there are thousands, the 6 communities of the council area, as well as the supporters of the APGA-led government of Professor Chukwuma Soludo, drum support for his re-election and his deputy, Dr. Onyeka Chukwuibezim.
We Dunukofia people, we thank you. Our dear Governor, may God continue to bless you. Your 8 years is assured by we Dunukofia. It is an assurance. We give it to you. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
The people also appreciate Governor Soludo for the massive road infrastructure and educational transformation in the local government area.
In the year 2022, I was posted to Community Secondary School Umunachi, where you made a smart school. Community Secondary School Umunachi is a smart school, and I'm not just a teacher, I'm a solution teacher. I'm not just a solution teacher, a solution digital teacher. And you gave us a tablet, and we are now writing our lesson notes. Lesson notes. Digital. So once we type it in here, and we go into the class and we say, look at the solution Governor has made teaching easier.
The highly elated Governor Chukwuma Soludo, who comes in the company of his wife, Nonye, appreciates the people for the overwhelming solidarity, as he notes the efforts of his administration in many sectors and assures them that APGA is the party to beat in the polls.
This time, we are not just winning Dunukofia. You have taken over. You have taken over everywhere. I have been told we are going to win all the wards, all the polling units, and that the margin of victory this time will be the type that nobody has ever seen in history.
In an unprecedented twist, the people of Dunukofia present over 200 million naira campaign support funds, maintaining that they have taken over the campaign in their area. The governor rounds off the event with the commissioning of the Dunukofia Legislative Building.
And in part two, after the break, Nigeria's Health Minister Mohamed Pate meets with World Bank President, WHO, and other global health leaders at the IMF World Bank meeting in Washington. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 live on Channels Television right here in Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Academic Staff Union of Universities urges the Senate to advocate for increased funding of public universities to help curb recurring strikes. And senior advisor to President Trump, Masad Boulos, dismisses claims of religious discrimination by terrorists in Nigeria. Nigeria's Health Minister, Mohamed Pate, meets with World Bank President, WHO officials, and other global health leaders during the IMF World Bank meetings in Washington. And Donald Trump warns that supplying long-range missiles could escalate the war in Ukraine as talks with President Zelensky begin. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohamed Pate, has revealed that Nigeria recorded over 80 million visits to primary healthcare centers in the first half of 2025. He attributed this achievement to the revitalization of primary healthcare centers through the sector-wide approach initiative. Professor Pate made this disclosure during a meeting with the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, and other stakeholders on the sidelines of the 2025 World Bank IMF annual meetings.
And we have our Japanese colleagues, Zabine and Hiro.
This gathering, held on the sidelines of the 2025 World Bank IMF annual meeting with the theme Scaling Health Reforms, has in attendance the Director General of the World Health Organization, the President of the World Bank, health ministers from around the world, heads of major pharmaceutical companies, and other thought leaders. The bilateral meeting is aimed at strengthening collaboration on health systems, advance discussions on sustainable domestic financing for primary healthcare, and explore cooperation in local pharmaceutical product financing, amongst other issues. Nigeria's Minister of Health, Professor Mohamed Pate, in his remarks, reeled out some of the gains of the health sector reforms to expand access for all.
In the first half of 2025, we've had more than 80 million visits, not individuals, visits to primary healthcare facilities that were revitalized and financed through this swap program, which are verifiable, which shows that, in fact, the combination of reforms are beginning to translate into improvement of utilization. In 2023, for the same period, is 10 million per quarter, which is about 20 million, so almost fourfold increase, and that is live. Local manufacturing partnerships are being expanded, and I think the aim to 2030 is an element that we see as key to sustainability, to the extent that we can domestically domestically produced commodities, create economic value, and create jobs for our youth. The huge multi-donor trust fund that we've mobilized, as well as other grant financiers, has helped align incentives of various actors to accelerate progress. Now, as we come to this stage, the evolution of that compact, in light of the significant progress in the macro-fiscal reforms, the resources accruing to subnational actors, states and local governments, we're already seeing development assistance shifting in a way that aligns with our own priorities. Focus on what does Nigeria want to achieve rather than determining what Nigeria wants to achieve before it comes to the country.
In response, the Director General of the World Health Organization pledged continued support to Nigeria to achieve its health priorities.
And from our side, whether it's the World Bank, WHO, Global Bank, GAVI, or all other partners, our role is to support you. And the basic principle that World Bank is advocating for is to support countries based on their priorities.
Mr. Patel said Nigeria is on the move.
Nigeria's participation in this meeting is both strategic and developmental, and the outcome could translate into stronger WHO-backed programs, new funding opportunities, and a clearer roadmap for achieving universal health coverage. Victoria Lockjohn, Channels Television News.
Well, let's head to our Abuja studio now for more national news. Hello, Gloria.
Hello, Laddie. Thank you. Here in Abuja, a group of women entrepreneurs have expressed their distress over the demolition of their businesses in the Maitama area. The women aired their grievances at a media briefing today, stating that they had occupied the green area for the past 14 years before the land was reallocated to another company. However, Mr. Galadima Mokhtar, Director of Development Control at the FCDA, said the women were asked to come for re-evaluation but failed to comply.
This is a popular recreational sport in the Maitama district of the nation's capital. The green space was demolished by officials of the Federal Capital Development Authority earlier in the week, following the review of the green area allocations by the FCT administration. According to business owners in the park, they have occupied the space for the past 14 years, and they have the requisite documents for their operation. However, they're crying for justice following the demolition.
This is a green area, and we legitimately got the managerial rights to stay here under a lease agreement duly executed in 2007 by AMMC.
According to the women, they have invested in the area, turning it into a thriving social hub, employing 68 staff and supporting small businesses. They claim that the land has been reallocated to another company.
We demand a thorough investigation to how Abuja City Work Limited acquired this area of ore in the first place. We demand that the economical and ecosystem of this place be considered. We demand that we are giving back what we have rightfully occupied and owned. They should leave us alone. We are young women who have come together to create jobs for ourselves and for others. We're asked, every owner who were asked to reapply. We were in the process. We have a 30 years lease with 12 years remaining, and we have a right of first refusal. Every ownership has a right of first refusal. We were in the process. As a matter of fact, we had just paid our ground rents in June.
However, the FCDA clarified that they refused to comply with the directive to reevaluate their ownership, which is an order from the FCT administration to address the occupation of green spaces by criminals, beggars, and miscreants.
The FCT administration has withdrawn all allocations granted to owners of these parks. You see, sometimes people don't read terms and conditions attached to some of these papers or license. So we made it abundant. Yes.
All parks in the FCT.
All parks
have been withdrawn.
Yes.
For now, the women are pleading with President Bola Tinubu to intervene while calling for the full investigation into the new company. They are also demanding for compensation for their losses. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Well, still in the FCT, the minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has urged residents of the FCT to avoid using social media to criticize the government. Mr. Wike made the appeal while flagging off the construction of collector roads in the Idu district of the nation's capital. He encouraged residents to practice good citizenship by constructively drawing the government's attention to areas needing improvement. Our correspondent, Kumbi Aboluwade, reports.
It's the latest project flagged up by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The project is the construction of collector roads within the institution and research district in the Idu area of the nation's capital. The roads link the body of benches to Nile University Junction, including a bridge.
During construction, the project will provide opportunity for job creation both directly and indirectly. And when completed, it will not only enhance general traffic circulation, it will reduce travel times and also improve safety of road users.
This is a demonstration of a responsive governance and good governance in the annals of the history of this country.
Delivering his speech, the Minister of the FCT calls on residents to embrace good citizenship by calling the government's attention to areas of lapses.
See what the body of benchers have done. You did not go to social media to criticize government. Oh, why do we have such an institution here? There's no alternative route criticizing government. But you made a request humbly, and President granted said, look, we didn't even know, I didn't even know about this. And we took it to Mr. President and see where we are today. So good citizens should be able to carry out their own responsibility by calling government attention. Not everything you go to social media.
The project is then officially flagged off as the minister assured that the project will be completed in due time to promote connectivity and reduce travel time for residents. From Abuja, Kumbi Aboluwade, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, federal, state and local government councils share a reduced revenue allocation of 2.1 trillion naira for September. That's in business news. Please join us again.
Welcome back. Well, to building matters now, a group of women entrepreneurs in Abuja have expressed their distress over the demolition of their businesses in the Maitama area. The women aired their grievances at a media briefing, stating that they had occupied the green area for the past 14 years before the land was reallocated to another company. However, Mr. Galadima Mukhtar, Director of Development Control at the FCDA, said the women were asked to come for re-evaluation but failed to comply.
The fact that those police officers were arrested, those that are escorted.
Well, apologies for that wrong one there, but to the real one now. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has demolished 11 police-funded duplexes for violating the territory's building regulations. Speaking during an inspection of the construction site in the Akwa district of the capital, FCT Minister Mr. Nyesom Wike stated that the buildings were constructed without approval, citing their close proximity to electrical installations in the area.
I got a report from the development control that they have to come here to stop some buildings that are going on. You can see the high tension. And so that it's unfortunate to be built by Nigerian police. And they applied for approval, and the development control said no, there's no way they can give approval
look at where the high tension is. So they gave them to stop. They refused to stop, and then they have to come here for their job to make sure that the buildings are brought down. But they were arrested by the Nigerian police. So I have to come and sit in for myself, and all of us have seen. Look at the high tension. How would anybody take such a risk? Assuming that there's not even high tension, the mere fact that the development control refused to give you approval, you cannot take it to your hands and say you must because you have the force. And this is what has brought us here, for me to sit in for myself. I'm sure the IG is not around, he may not be aware, but I have to take it up to the appropriate authority that we cannot allow this.
And to other matters now, the United States Army War College has posthumously honored Nigeria's 23rd Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, by inducting him into its International Hall of Fame. The ceremony took place in Washington, D.C. during the opening of the Association of United States Army Annual Convention. According to a statement from the Nigerian Army Public Relations, the commandant of the Army War College, Major General Trevor Brennenkamp, and they described Lieutenant General Lagbaja as a visionary leader whose service exemplified professionalism, courage, and dedication to humanity.
General Lagbaja served as the Nigerian Army.
The representative of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, Major General Adeleke Ayanuga, leads the wife of the 23rd Chief of Army Staff of the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, to receive the posthumous award of the United States Army War College. Lieutenant General Lagbaja is being inducted into the International Hall of Fame of the college in recognition of his exemplary military leadership and global contributions to peace and security. General Lagbaja becomes the first Nigerian Army officer to be enshrined in the International Hall of Fame of the college since its establishment 124 years ago. The award is one of the highest international honors bestowed by the United States Army War College. According to a statement from the Nigerian Army, this milestone stands as a defining recognition of a soldier whose life embodied courage, intellect, and unyielding commitment to duty.
And guide those who follow in his footsteps. Today, we are honored to induct General Lagbaja into the U.S. Army War College International Hall of Fame.
The statement adds that the recognition honors General Lagbaja's sterling leadership, visionary service, and exceptional contributions to the advancement of military professionalism. Furthermore, the statement adds that the dignitaries in attendance include the Director General, Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center, Major General Gbemiga Adesina, the Director General, Defense Headquarters Joint Doctrine and Warfare Center, among several other senior security officers.
All right, to some company news now. The grand finale of the My OPay Security Vote Challenge, a campaign aimed at raising awareness about OPay's in-app security features and promoting vigilance in Nigeria's digital banking sector, is taking place in Lagos. OPay, a company dedicated to simplifying finances and payments, rewarded 4 lucky winners of the challenge with prizes of 1 million naira each. In line with its ongoing commitment to user safety, OPay also unveiled a new security feature, Location Guard, which requires facial verification whenever a user is accessing their account from an unusual location.
There will be another phase, that's the final phase. The final phase will be when we now give the final prizes.
Keeping to their promises, OPay is rewarding 4 lucky customers in the grand finale of its My OPay Security Challenge with a prize of 1 million naira each. A campaign about its digital banking safety 7 in-app security features, which includes USSD lock, large transaction shield, online subscription control, scam alert, night guard, large transaction double check, and emergency lock. OPay's Chief Commercial Officer, Elizabeth Wang, explains what the company aims to achieve with its security features and also unveiled an additional security feature, Location Guard,
Just during this campaign, we also launched another product called Location Guard. So you yourself can select where you are now. Once the phone outside of that location, we will lock it. Only your face ID can pass it. We will continue to launch more security products. We still need to educate the whole society, the users, so that they will use it.
Actress Funke Akindele commends the company for its security-forward-thinking technologies.
I love to identify with brands like this, positive thinker, a think ahead. Thank you. I want you to keep working on a lead in trust and innovation.
1 million naira. The winners are then presented with cash prizes.
I'm rejoicing every day. Anytime I wake up, I just remember I'm a million naira richer. I feel very.
I was so excited to, put out my entry there. And yes, my favorite feature is the large transaction double check.
A campaign which launched in August 2025 and ran for 10 weeks with thousands of entries. My OPay Security Vote Challenge as one of the largest digital safety engagements in Nigeria this year, where lucky participants were rewarded 50,000 naira weekly and also a grand prize presentation of 1 million naira in September.
I hope they can see that OPay they pay, that we have you at the heart of everything that we do, and we deeply, deeply, deeply care, because you yourself, you're part of our core value, and we will keep on innovating with you at the center of everything that we do.
OPay offers secure, easy and affordable financial solutions and is committed to deepening financial inclusion through technology and enabling shared prosperity. And for business and market stories now, here's Dominic.
On business news, a total sum of 2.103 trillion naira has been shared to the federal, state and local government council by the Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, as revenue distribution for September. According to a statement from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the gross statutory revenue of 2.128 trillion naira was received for the month, and this was lower than the sum of 2.838 trillion naira received in the month of August 2025 by 710.134 billion naira due to reduced crude-related receipts. Key highlights of the allocation from indicates that the federal government received 711.31 billion naira, state governments got 727.17 billion naira, while local government councils got 529.95 billion naira, while relevant states received 134.95 billion naira as 13% mineral derivation. And now the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has excluded Nigeria from the list of fast-growing sub-Saharan African economies. This comes as the IMF listed Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Rwanda and Uganda as the fastest-growing economies on the continent in its latest Regional Economic Outlook report for the region. The report, launched at the ongoing annual meetings of the IMF and World Bank, said the region has demonstrated remarkable resilience to a series of major shocks over the past several years. And now the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has warned Nigerians against dealing with a digital token, Shalom Coin, or its promoters due to potential fraud risks. The SEC, in a disclaimer today, emphasized that Shalom Coin is being promoted as an investment opportunity purportedly issued on the Ethereum blockchain as an ERC20 token. Preliminary findings, according to the capital market regulator, show that Shalom Coin is being promoted across online channels and social media platforms as a meme coin or community token, often accompanied by speculative claims of potential investment returns. And locally, nearly 400 billion naira is gained by investors in the domestic stock market as it ends Friday's trading session positive after posting gains in 4 days. Inijo Mekwa has the details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stock market report. Well, it ends in the green today. The market gained 395 billion naira, keeping the market cap at 94.56 trillion naira. And even though at intraday we did hit 149,000, we lost a bit of that to close at 148,977.64. The all share up almost 0.5%. Gainers today: Unicel, UPDC, and Sovereign Insurance. We can see insurance seems to be coming up again. Investors' interest seems to be picking around it, so we can see it there. Even when you look at the flip side, that's the losers for today. A lot of activity going on around insurance, Living Trust, Institutions, and a Corner PLC. So insurance coming back one way or the other, either profit taking or cherry picking. But insurance is beginning to catch the attention of investors again. But the good thing is we close this week with the bull.
Thank you, Ining. Meanwhile, European stock markets fell today after two U.S. regional banks said they had been exposed to millions of dollars of bad loans and alleged fraud. But a rebound for Wall Street as U.S. trade tensions with China eases. Here are snapshots of the closing figures. And that's it on business news. Back to Ladi for the rest of the news at 10.
Thanks, Dominic. Well, U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that giving Ukraine Tomahawk missiles could escalate the war. Here's Simon Kuzi with more now in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has met the US President in Washington for the third time since Mr. Trump returned to office. Their meeting comes a day after Trump said great progress was made during a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, with the pair agreeing to face-to-face talks in Hungary. Mr. Trump said the call, the first with Putin since mid-August, was very productive, adding that teams from Washington and Moscow will meet next week. As Zelensky arrived in the US, he said Moscow was rushing to resume dialogue as soon as it hears about Tomahawk missiles. John Bolton, Donald Trump's former national security advisor, has arrived at a federal court to surrender to authorities on charges of mishandling classified information. The 18 charges stem from allegations he shared or retained sensitive materials, including some characterized as top secret. Mr. Bolton served during Trump's first administration, but parted with the White House contentiously and has become one of the president's most vocal public critics. The indictment makes Mr. Bolton the third of the U.S. president's political opponents to face charges in recent weeks. Colonel Michael Randrianira has been sworn in as the new president of Madagascar, days after a military takeover. He swapped his army fatigues for a suit and thanked the young people who took to the streets for weeks of protest that prompted the former president to flee the country and led to his impeachment. The ceremony took place at the Constitutional Court in the capital, where a large crowd gathered to watch, including those who spearheaded the demonstrations. Australian police have called off a search for a 4-year-old boy who has been missing in the outback for almost 3 weeks after fresh efforts failed to find any traces of the child. Gus Lamont was last seen playing outside his home on a remote sheep station near Yunta, around 300 kilometres from Adelaide. His grandmother left him alone for around half an hour before checking on him, only to find the boy was missing, prompting one of the largest land and air searches in South Australian history. The three leading candidates for New York City mayor have taken to the stage at Rockefeller Center in Manhattan to make a case to plead to lead America's biggest city. They tangled over housing, Israel and Gaza, and President Donald Trump, with the frontrunner, Zoran Mamdani, pressing his main competitor Andrew Cuomo during the heated 2-hour debate. With early voting set to begin next week, neither dominated the evening, but both declared victory afterwards. The most recent polling suggests Mamdani has widened his lead to 46%, while Cuomo stands at 33%.
The Assemblyman still won't say he believes that Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state. He is a divisive personality.
I've said time and again that I recognize Israel's right to exist. I've said that I will not recognize any state. I said that I will not.
As a Jewish state.
If I would be allowed to finish, that I would not recognize any state's right to exist with a system of hierarchy on the basis of race or religion.
And thousands of mourners have attended the state funeral of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga at a national stadium in the Kenyan capital. Many carried national flags, portraits of the late leader, and wore T-shirts printed with his image to pay their final respects.
Let us all be silent a bit as we commit this family before God.
After the funeral service ended, thousands of people lined up to view Odinga's body at the National Stadium.
I don't know who I'll miss more, my dad or my superhero. I've been the luckiest girl in the world because you are my dad. Only 3 other human beings were as lucky as me: Fidel, Rosie, and Junior. Dad, you are light, steady, unyielding, and deeply human.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. 2 players from the Super Falcons Women's African Cup of Nations winning squad have been nominated in a 10-player shortlist for the Women's Player of the Year category at the 2025 CAF Awards unveiled earlier today by the Confederation of African Football. Forward Esther Koronko and Captain Rashida Tajibade faced tough contest from Zambia's Barbara Banda and Rachel Kundenaje. Also in contention are Ghana's Portia Boake, Senegal's Mama Diop, Wolfgang top scorer and Moroccan captain Ghislaine Chebak alongside a compatriot Sana Misodi. Making the shortlist also are Malawian sisters Tabitha Chawinga and Thewan Chawinga. Meanwhile, 2-time winner and Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie aims to retain a title as she makes the 10-player shortlist for goalkeepers of the year. Nigeria also have Super Falcons coach Justin Madugu and the national women's under-17 coach Bankole Olowokere shortlisted for the women's coach of the year. The Super Falcons and the Flamingos are nominees for the National Women's Team of the Year, while Bayoso Queens is among the 10 best African women's clubs in contention for the Women's Club of the Year. Then Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca has confirmed England midfielder Cole Palmer will be out of action for 6 more weeks. Palmer has not played since Chelsea 2-1 defeated Manchester United on September the 20th. The team were hoping the 23-year-old will be back after this month's international break.
I was wrong. Unfortunately, he needs to be out probably 6 more weeks. So, yeah, this is the update. We try just to protect Cole as much as we can, and the most important thing is that when he comes back, he's fully fit. Unfortunately, the medical staff, they are no magician. You never know that. Probably you need 6 weeks. We hope that 6 weeks they are enough, but it's a problem that we need to see step by step, week after week. But for sure, it's going to be okay.
Meanwhile, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta says his captain Martin Odegaard is set to be sidelined for a few weeks with a knee injury. Odegaard sustained a ligament injury during the win over West Ham United before the international break, leading him to withdraw from international duty for Norway. That sports is back to you, Ladi.
Thanks, Chris. But before I let you go now, here's the main news again. The Academic Staff Union of Universities is urging the Senate to advocate for increased funding of public universities to help curb recurring strikes. Senior advisor to President Trump, Assad Bulus, has dismissed claims of religious discrimination by terrorists in Nigeria. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams, and I'll see you again next week. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.